Unless suffering is the direct and immediate object of life, our existence must entirely fail of its aim. It is absurd to look upon the enormous amount of pain that abounds everywhere in the world, and originates in needs and necessities inseparable from life itself, as serving no purpose at all and the result of mere chance. Each separate misfortune, as it comes, seems, no doubt, to be something exceptional, but misfortune, in general, is the rule. In my entire life, I don't think I read something so powerful as this idea that the sole purpose of our existence is suffering. And if suffering is not the direct and immediate object of life, our existence fails of its aim. The entire aim of our whole existence is suffering. This is such an overwhelming thought. Of course, I think he's wrong, but it sounds so powerful. Almost makes one wishing not to be born. The Trouble with Being Born is the title of Emile Cioran's book, one of his books. Let me reread this for you. Unless suffering is the direct and immediate object of life, our existence must entirely fail of its aim. It is absurd to look upon the enormous amount of pain that abounds everywhere in the world, and originates in needs and necessities inseparable from life itself, as serving no purpose at all and the result of mere chance. Each separate misfortune, as it comes, seems, no doubt, to be something exceptional, but misfortune, in general, is the rule. I know of no greater absurdity than that propounded by most systems of philosophy in declaring evil to be negative in its character. Evil is just what is positive. It makes its own existence felt. Then tell me why goodness can't be positive as well. Why can't it make its own existence felt? Even though, when judging acts of kindness, let's say, there's always this suspicion that the person who acts as a kind person, he does it from, let's call them, negative characteristics of his own being. The ego speaks through him and acts accordingly, but there is no pure light. It's only an artificial light in which evil manifests itself. For instance, if I give a present, but not because it's someone's birthday, but I want to make a gesture, or I'm gonna help him with something, I do it because it makes me feel good. It's almost impossible to believe that someone can do something good for another person with nothing to gain and just be happy for that person. You don't receive anything, but even then, in that rare case, it may still be that you're doing that good act because in your own set of values, you think that in the hierarchy of people, that is the supreme being that acts like this. And you want to be a supreme being, therefore, even then, when you have nothing to gain from something good that you did, you are still not a pure person, not a good person. Every good act has at its roots something negative, or what we call negative, because Nietzsche would say that everything is beyond good and evil. It is the good which is negative. In other words, happiness and satisfaction always imply some desire fulfilled, some state of pain brought to an end. This explains the fact that we generally find pleasure to be not nearly so pleasant as we expected, and pain very much more painful. The pleasure in this world, it has been said, outweighs the pain, or, at any rate, there is an even balance between the two. If the reader wishes to see shortly whether this statement is true, let him compare the respective feelings of two animals, one of which is engaged in eating the other. The best consolation is misfortune or affliction of any kind will be the thought of other people who are in still worse plight than yourself. And this is a form of consolation open to everyone. But what an awful fate this means for mankind as a whole. We are like lambs in a field, disporting themselves under the eye of the butcher, who chooses our first one and then another for his prey. So it is that in our good days we are all unconscious of the evil fate may have presently in store for us. Sickness, poverty, mutilation, loss of sight or reason. No little part of the torment of existence lies in this, that time is continually pressing upon us, never letting us take breath, but always coming after us, like a taskmaster with a whip. If at any moment time stays his hand, it is only when we are delivered over the misery of boredom. Just 10 minutes of studies in pessimism. It's 2 a.m. here in a beautiful night, and I'm already dead inside now. I was trying to contradict Schopenhauer, but I lack the energy now. I don't agree with some sections from studies in pessimism, but I don't agree with the fact that the whole purpose of life is suffering, even though it explains a lot in life. I think he is excessive, and for a philosopher, it's even compromising that he denies the light in this world with what he says about time and taskmaster with a whip. I can feel this in my blood. No little part of the torment of existence lies in this, that time is continually pressing upon us. Can you feel the seconds pressing upon you, just like a headache, like when your teeth hurt, let's say, and you can feel that. That's how the seconds can be felt by some people like me who have a trauma of being born. It's the continuous feeling of dying. Every second you are closer to the grave. It's a banality, but to feel this with every pulse is something poetic, but also pathological. And people rather kill themselves in useless jobs just to not think about this, just to be buried in action and forget their own thoughts in the meeting of themselves. You would be surprised what people would do just to not meet themselves. No little part of the torment of existence lies in this, that time is continually pressing upon us, never letting us take breath, but always coming after us, like a taskmaster with a whip. If at any moment time stays his hand, it is only when we are delivered over the misery of boredom. Absolutely magisterial. Even though boredom means for the majority of the people a portal to go for TV shows, for stupid games, just to forget that you are alive. It's the boredom of the mediocre person, the superficial boredom, I would call it. But for some people, some spiritual people, it's the anxiety, it's the abyss of boredom, you know. And when you look into the abyss looks unto you, as Nietzsche said. When people like Schopenhauer get bored, it's almost an event. But the majority of people just access the superficial boredom. So boredom, the spiritual boredom, can almost make one kill himself. So I agree with him here. If we give the proper meaning to boredom, not the I don't know what to do with my life. I'm so bored and don't have any thoughts, because you're mediocre, you know. We were talking about that boredom when you're facing life itself, and you're facing your own mortality. Just like now, I'm not moving. Boredom is this constant inactivity that helps you feel your own degradation. I'm waiting to die. This is boredom. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to make more clips about Cioran, Schopenhauer, Dostoevsky, Nietzsche, and comment with you guys some passages that I like. I hope you find this useless. I sincerely hope you find this useless and you go on happy with your life. But for the few souls that are not feeling well in this life, I hope you find some consolation here. Thank you.